Welcome back to Built to Ship, the podcast where we go behind the scenes with founders and product leaders, shipping real AI products into the world. Today, we've got a treat. I'm really excited to be joined by Trisha Price, Chief Product Officer at Pendo, the AI-powered analytics and adoption platform for builders. Trisha, it's great to have you here.
Thanks, Tyler. I'm excited to be here and chat with you today.
Amazing. Well, there's a lot I want to get into, but let's start with your background. What were you doing before Pendo? How long have you been there? And anything you want to share about the journey and what you've learned across those years in product?
Sure. I was a software engineer out of college. And what I found I always gravitated to was the problem we were solving, not necessarily like the elegance and implementation of the code. And so that sort of pulled me into a career of product. I've pretty much done almost every job at a software company in terms of sales, solutions engineering, customer success. But most of my career has been building product and being in product leadership. I've been at Pendo for 4 years, and what a treat in terms of if you really, really want to hone your craft as a product person and a product leader, go work for a company that builds product for other product managers. Because you not only the experience of doing that, but my customers that I get to go out and spend time with are all other product people, and I see what best in class looks like, and also where we all make mistakes and get to learn from that as well. Prior to coming to Pendo, I was the CTO of Encino, which is a global banking system, and I was there for many years and was mostly in banking tech before coming to Pendo. I'm also on the board of directors at Docebo, which is the learning management system as well.
Amazing. What an amazing career. And I really resonate with what you shared about like selling product to product people. One of the great things about working with product people is that they're often like, they understand the struggle of, I want feedback about my product. I want to know what we can do better. And they know how to like speak the language. So it can really help to, they're more open to discovery calls and things like that, market research and everything. Well, I want to ask, like, Pendo's done and built a lot, I'm sure, even in the time that you have been there. What are you excited about today? Especially, obviously, this is an AI podcast, especially in the AI space. What are the products you guys have in market? What are you building?
Yeah. I think if you go back a few years ago and sort of my tenure there, when I came, we were really analytics and guides, and they were really integrated in a special way. But since then, we've launched Session Replay. We've launched Listen, which is an AI-driven, modern feedback application and voice of customer application. A lot of really cool AI features in that, being able to examine call transcripts and support tickets and sort of point to you as a product person where the problems lie. But when I think about the future, what I'm most excited about is our agent analytics that we launched. Agent analytics is purpose-built for product people to help you understand how are people using your agents and help make them successful. So it's really telling you what are the use cases that are working well and have high quality, what are the use cases that aren't working well. And I think for all of us, we're going to be in an extended period of time where we live with, and it could be forever, traditional point and click interfaces along with agentic interfaces and agentic workflows all together. And so that's where I think Pendo's special sauce is, because we do both, right? We can look at your workflows, point and click, traditional software, and help you say, like, this is a great candidate in terms of a workflow, a use case, a job to be done for agentic automation. And then we can also help you with even basic agentic, just conversational interfaces. And what are people asking? What are they trying to do? And are they actually getting it done? And that, I think, is really exciting for Pendo.
I love that you guys are bringing those kind of insights to product people and the teams around it that are building AI, because I think there's a lot of really exciting news about AI, but at the same time, we have to remember it's really early still. And so a lot of people don't even know, like, what are the places we should be using it? What are the use cases that work well? And so giving visibility to product teams will help improve that experience, make the businesses more successful, and make end users, more happy with AI. You obviously have a great view of all of the, companies that work with Pendo that are building AI systems. it really helps, I think, everyone get grounded in like, where are companies at? Can you share like across all the customers you work with, how
Yeah.
many have shipped agents? Like, is it one agent? Is it 10? Is it only 20% of companies that have done it? What have you seen?
Yeah. I mean, as you know, Tyler, I like to spend a lot of my time out with customers. We all do as product people. And people ask me this all the time, am I behind? Am I ahead? I see the hype, but what's the reality? What I will tell you is there is rarely a company, regardless of age, size, success, that hasn't built some sort of AI features and even agentic interfaces, conversational agentic. I'm using that word because really agentic should mean automation of workflow, but a lot of times we all start with something that answers questions. And I'm not
Hmm.
talking about a support bot. I'm talking about real questions about the data, your first party data, not the how to. Most people have moved from not just a simple support bot to some sort of agentic interface where you can ask questions of your first party data and it can give you status answers, basic sort of query reporting answers. Um, and then the people who are a little further along have started into some sort of co-pilot interaction and automation, where you ask a question, you tell it something to do, and it starts to do things for you. It lets you know what it did. And I would say, maybe 30% of people have gotten to that point. And then I would say it's really tip of the spear, AI first companies that went out and did an acquisition of an AI first company that have, and that's probably a much smaller percentage. I'm gonna guess 10-15%, where there's truly automated autonomous workflow AI happening.
Fascinating. Thank you for sharing that, because like that's information that you have a unique position to know and see across all these customers. I want to ask a follow up to that, which is like across all of these use cases, what's the split of like internal agentic use cases versus external? Like, are they using it just in teams, within the company, or are they actually putting these things in front of customers?
Yeah, the way I answered the question when you first asked it was really all external. Like I'm just talking about product people building external
Okay.
experiences. Internal, I think is really interesting. Everybody's doing something internally as well. I think almost everybody's doing something externally too. Per my earlier conversation, it's just, are you at support bot? Are you ask
Hmm.
data? Or are you at automation? Internal. Again, there's almost everybody has built some sort of Claude project or agent that does the basics, like if you're a SaaS company, have you created a competitive intelligence agent where you log in, you feed it all the context, all the information about you and your competitors and your strategic advantage, and you hand that over to your sales team, or your customer story agent, right? Those things are pretty commonplace at this point. In product, some of the more sophisticated product teams are doing really cool things, which is like creating a product agent. and
Mm-hmm.
and so it also has all the context about your product, your strategy, maybe even your Jira, may using Pendo's MCP server to connect your usage data so you can get qualitative and quantitative insights. So instead of popping into all these tools in and out all day, you can at least get basic information. I could say, hey, how many people have used feature XYZ, and combine that with very specific information and context around my product and my strategy to help me make decisions. That I've not seen a lot of yet, but people are starting to move in that direction, more scaled and sophisticated product teams.
Very interesting. And I think, calling out these tip of the spear use cases is still helpful, even if it's a few. Like that's like a view into the future, right? Like this is what's other people are going to be doing in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. What was it that really motivated you guys to build this AI agent analytics tool? Like what pain were you seeing? Was it people had gotten agents into production, but they couldn't figure out how to fix it? Or yeah, what was the motivation there?
I mean, it was, as great products are, a pull from our customer base combined with strategic point of view that we had at Pendo. What what the early days, what happened was people would deploy agents and they would use Pendo just to know who was using the agent. Not what they were asking, but who was using it, how often, what were they doing before they asked the agent a question, what were they doing after. And that's just Pendo analytics that have been around forever. And then they started using guides and saying, well, hey, for people who aren't using our agent, let's let them know. Or they were using Pendo embedded guides within their agent, which is a really cool use case to say, hey, we just gave our agent a new
That's cool.
skill. We just gave our agent a new skill. How would you know? Like, Tyler, if you came to our product and used our agent the first time or the 10th time, how would you know that I built a new skill and something you tried with my agent before where it failed, it's now ready to handle for you? So started using our embedded guides to almost like cold start template prompts.
Mm.
And so that was like step one of using regular Pendo
Hmm.
to make your agent successful. And that was working really well. And we were seeing success with that. But then people want more, right? They want to make sure if AI is their biggest bet of the future and AI, they got to get an ROI on it. And just knowing people used it is not enough. You got to know, was it better than if they had done it the old way? And are they getting
Hmm.
value? And I don't think most users want to use a thumbs up and thumbs down anymore. And I just don't think that gives you the context that you need. And trying to go through transcripts, even if you're using AI against them, is a pretty painful experience. So that's really, what drove us was sort of the start of using Pendo in a traditional manner against these agents, and then us realizing what other value we needed to provide.
I love that. I love that it came from an actual, almost like they weren't hacking the product, but almost like users are hacking the product to get, what they needed out of it, leveraging all the other features. I think the guide thing is pretty interesting too, because everyone has their opinion or their experience with chatbots. It doesn't matter that LLMs are out now; they still are used to 5 years ago when chatbots couldn't do all these things. And so, to your point, we need to also educate users. Number one, that overall agents and AI has improved when it comes to like conversational chatbots, and then your individual chatbot may have improved in the last week. So I love that use case of like these templates or guides within an agent, and I think more people should think about using that.
Yeah, and if agents are actually doing autonomous workflows and they have capabilities beyond what they had yesterday today, because most of us who are moving quickly and in that direction, it is changing rapidly in terms of the skills these agents have. How do you tell your users that a new automation is available? You just do it and surprise them? You send them an email that they never read? What, you're going to put release notes out? Like, those are such outdated concepts that you need a real-time way for people to understand your agent skills.
And what's great is that the agent can actually understand its own skills now. It's intelligent enough that it could explain, oh, hey, I have this new feature, etc. So yeah,
That's right.
love that little tidbit there. I want to know, like, what have you seen in terms of the teams that are involved in building these agents, and who were the people that needed analytics? I know PMs are probably like your main user, but I'm sure Pendo has a lot of others. What
Yeah.
I've seen, and I'm curious if it matches, is that it's been a lot of the PM with an engineer or two, like this kind of tiger team. Then it evolves into a full pod, maybe multiple. But what's been interesting to me, my background's in data science and analytics. I actually haven't talked to that many analysts. I think it's about to start, is my guess. I'm curious what you think. That analytics and data science teams are going to be brought more into these LLM. Now we're past prototype, we're past V1. But they traditionally, in the past year or two, I haven't seen them having access to this data. I could imagine that now with like your
Yeah.
agent analytics, they will get that. But I'm curious what you've seen. Who's involved in the building and analysis and debugging process today for agents?
Yeah, well, first I'm going to start with the basics, which is, I agree with you. You've got your product and engineering team tend to be smaller, more nimble, AI forward. People are comfortable using AI tools, not just building AI tools. Comfortable with a more modern AI lifecycle, rapid experimentation type, sort of small teams. I think tiger team was the word you used. Agree. That's what I see as well. It's easy to forget how important user experience is, and for people to think, oh, like, okay, well, when you're talking about chat, it's just a chat, and like make it look like all the rest. I think that's a mistake. if people don't have transparency into what was completed and how and why and what decisions were made or why you answered, when you should give supplemental information, when you should give a graph, you're going to really lose trust. So a great UX person is always critical, in my opinion. Um, I think one of the biggest differences I've seen is around quality. I think when we think about traditional engineering and a unit test, it was very binary, right? Like you
Hmm.
might come up with success criteria with product and engineering together, but whether something passed was usually something engineering could do independently. And I think like agents and the quality process is just wildly different than that. Like when you think about an agentic answer, that requires evals, it requires a lot of product sense, a lot of context that I think engineering can't do in on its own, unless you have an amazing engineering team that have a lot of product sense and customer context, which happens absolutely. I don't want to pretend that can't happen and shouldn't happen. But you know that's what I tend to see is certainly from a quality perspective, you need somebody, maybe that's product, who has a lot of customer context to know if you're getting quality answers or not. And just evals are so critical to that. So that's one piece of the puzzle. To your question around data science, I think this is I haven't put a lot of thought into it at all, but I love this because like if I think about Pendo, like we have a product called Pendo Predict, and it's a AI product that's very data science, machine learning um, driven. And basically, it helps you based on usage of your product understand churn risk and customer health and
Mm,
sell capability. So it's like really like a green, yellow, red type model. And there's different factors that you can use a UI to help drive what matters most in your business and specific things about your business. And so, like, really cool, right? Like, take usage data and then drive that to a different persona of customer success or sales to help them do their job well. Um, and so, think about that is typically based on clicks.
yeah.
We built that product. We actually acquired a company, but that product was built because we saw data science teams that were often sitting in finance pulling usage data from Pendo
Mm. Putting it
and
somewhere
then
else.
creating a forecast, right?
Hmm.
And they were using other data from Salesforce or HubSpot or things like that. And then they were building a model that says, hey, customer success team, sales team, go pay attention before this renewal. You've got risk. And so that's how we saw the product. But when everything's not point and click data and a lot of it is agentic, that will be a fascinating thing, right?
Yeah.
Then also creating the agent itself and using data science to start to think about, you know, how do people use this product and how to perfect it and what problems to solve next will be really interesting as well. And I haven't yet seen people doing that. I'd love to hear if you have, but I love this concept and now my mind is spinning on it.
Love it. No, I haven't seen it yet. And I just am wondering if it's about to happen because I think I just keep hearing it's funny to me as a previously a data scientist and analyst that like the people doing the analysis on agents today are mostly engineers and PMs,
Yeah.
not the analysts because they don't have access to the data. I mean, there weren't tools like Pendo Analytics, for agents before. And so how could an analyst get access to it? So I think as these tools start to allow self-serve and allow more folks in the org to have visibility, it's a stronger signal. Like you said, clicks are great and you can actually predict a lot. That's what we used to do too back
Yeah.
in my previous jobs. But imagine now actual sentiment and conversations that these people are having with your agent. That's a stronger signal than they clicked on a certain page. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
um, Amazing. Well, is there anything you want to share, like trends that you see in the types of agents being built, or the biggest challenges that you're seeing across these teams? Like, what's next for agents?
I think, well, a, a bunch of things. One, there's so many challenges because it's such a new muscle and it's so new for all of us. I think the biggest challenge is honestly just making sure you get the outcomes you intended and that you get an ROI. Like it's easy to check it off and say my agent has this skill, but is it actually performing that at scale and at a level of quality that is better than the traditional experience? I don't think that's happening consistently yet. So to me, perfecting that is what is next. Um, and then beyond that, it's going to be everyone moving from conversational to full automation, like not just tip of the spear folks doing that, but all of us thinking that first when we're product and we have a job to be done or a new value to deliver, that our immediate reaction is like, could an agent do this? And do you build agent first capabilities and skills, or do you build traditional workflows that then get automated? I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's the next evolution for all of us.
Amazing. Well, this has been a fascinating conversation. Really appreciate you sharing all your insights and taking the time. I want to put Pendo's homepage up on the screen. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Pendo, but maybe you can share a bit about where do we go to learn more specifically about agent analytics and anything else you want to share about what people should get excited about.
Yeah, great. Please, yes, come to our website, um, ask us for a demo, check out agent analytics, also check out Pendo's agent mode. We too are building agents, and those are guide building agents. They are Ask Pendo agents for both our qualitative and our quantitative data. Check that out, play around with it. I'd love to see your feedback and especially on agent analytics, since it's sort of new for all of us. That's the best place to learn more about Pendo. Also, I too, Tyler, have I have a podcast called Hard Calls.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, take a listen to that. Anybody who's out there, it's really less about specific tools like Pendo, and it's more just talking to product leaders across the globe. And we always start with, what's the hardest call you've had to make in your career? And then what are the skills, people, process, technologies, tools, including Pendo, but other things that you needed to make those hard calls? And what if, did they end up being the right one or not, and why? So come take a listen at Hard Calls, but please do visit our website and learn more about Pendo and ask for a demo.
Amazing. I'm definitely going to check out the pod. That sounds great. I love that concept of, those are things that as a new leader or someone, just getting into product, like you don't have that experience yet. And if you don't have a great boss who will tell you about that, it sounds like this is a way you can like hear the stories and the experience of other folks. So check out Hard Calls, go to pendo.io. Thanks again, Trisha. It was great having you on and looking forward to seeing how agent analytics at Pendo evolves.
Thanks, Tyler.
Have a good one. Bye now.